You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
The group NWA, acronym for Niggas with Attitude, was a rap group in the late 1980s. The rap group consisted of Andre Young, Dr. Dre, Eric Wright, Eazy-E, Lorenzo Patterson, MC Ren, O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube, and Antoine Caribbean, DJ Yellow. Did not only rap about killing and robbing for the fun of it, they were rapping the reality of their day-to-day lives. The lives of these rappers and their fellow African Americans consisted of constant discrimination, such as police brutality, abuse of authority, and profiling. According to the Odyssey, NWA had a major impact upon the black community and gave them a minority group a voice and made Compton recognizable to the world. We will analyze how the rap group and the language used in their songs represented, defined, and showed allegiance to the black community, while also analyzing how the language and its meaning were shaped by their culture and context.
The Police NWA's second most famous single is considered to be the most legitimate song ever made by NWA. The song explains what is going on in their community through rap lyrics in an uncensored manner. It is clearly expressed what is going on in the black community in Compton during the late 1980s. Abuse of authority, racial discrimination, profiling, and police brutality were seen on the streets of Compton every day. As stated by The Guardian in an article of 1989, there have been nearly 3,000 gang-related killings and 15,000 woundings since 1980. It is amazing how much crime is seen in such a small area, since Compton has an area of 26 square kilometers. Compton, also known as the CPT, has been considered to be the most dangerous city in the USA due to its high numbers of crime and arrests. Drive-bys, gang wars, dope houses, arrests, search warrants, OGs, and murders provided Compton with this bad reputation. The theme of Fuck the Police takes from a trial against the LAPD with Dr. Dre as the judge and Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and MC Ren as witnesses. This is a very important thing to understand because based on the lyrics that will further be explained, the LAPD is seen as enemy of the black community in Compton. Ice Cube begins the song stating that a young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. With this verse, Ice Cube is saying that profiling, discrimination, and racist actions are being made against young black males in Compton. Racial profiling reached its peak during the late 1980s when members of the black community were seen as gang members or drug dealers, and in some cases both. By 1988, 700,000 drug possession arrests were already been made. More than half of these arrests were made against black people. In another line, Ice Cube states how he will not stand the abuse of authority from the police, and he is not afraid to fight a police officer even though he might get sent to jail. Fuck that shit cause I am the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun to be beaten on or thrown in jail. We can go toe to toe in the middle of a cell. In another line, Ice Cube says, but don't let it be black and a white one cause they'll slam it down on the street top. Black police showing out for the white cop. With this quote, Ice Cube is explaining how black cops also practice abuse of power and they showed off the power in front of their police officers. The black community in Compton frowns upon the cops because of the treatment and injustice they receive. Just because I'm from the CPT, punk police are afraid of me. Cube is stating that the LAPD are scared of the black community in Compton. Stereotypes have been made against them, making them look as dangerous people. You should not mess with. Ice Cube finishes off his part of the song by repeating, "Fuck the police" several times. MC Ren then begins his part stating, but take out the gun so we can see what's up and we'll go at it, punk, I'ma fuck you up. Make you think I'ma kick your ass, but drop your gat and MC Ren's gonna blast. I'm sneaky as fuck when it comes to crime. MC Ren challenges the authority to combat, making them think he will beat them, but really he is going to kill them, and no one will know it was him. Fuck the Police clearly shows the great amount of hate that they have towards the police due to its racial injustice and abuse of power. The community of Compton will not accept this unfair treatment. What NWA does with their song lyrics is express in a very crude way how they feel towards the abuse they receive. NWA gives a voice to a tormented community.
Express Yourself came from NWA's debut studio album, Straight Outta Compton, in 1988. This album also consisted of Fuck the Police and Straight Outta Compton, which are also being analyzed in this video. Even though Express Yourself is not a perfect example of gangster rap and ruthless lyrics, it still contains verses that define the black community, as stated by Rodrigo in Compton. During the 1980s, there was a lot of profiling and police abuse of authority. The black community was silenced by the police and other forces. The individuals were muted and arrested because they tried to express themselves. Quoting South Central history, Dr. Dre states in the first lyrics, "I'm expressing with my full capabilities, and now I'm living in correctional facilities." These verses pretty much sum up how the police force tried to silence the black community. NWA explained that the community in which they lived in, people could not express what happened to them publicly. If not, they would face jail time. Quoting Rap Genius, "This was caused because the police officers abused authority in the marginal areas of South Central Los Angeles, such as Compton. Dre tried to inform outsiders, or people from outside of Compton, what actually happened within the CPT. So, these verses to start the song define what happened if an individual from Compton tried to speak on how the authorities treated their small community. Basically, showing that the African American community did not have freedom of speech. Ice Cube acknowledges that the police do this to keep a good image of California. Cube says in an interview with The Guardian, "Whenever the media shows California, all they picture is beaches and pretty girls. They never go to our neighborhood." Therefore, the world was blinded of the atrocities that happened within Compton. Because mainstream media published Los Angeles as beaches and Hollywood being everything, not showing that areas where over 3,000 murders happened per decade. Information from The Guardian. The purpose of the lyrics within Express Yourself was to demonstrate what actually happens in LA. This is why eventually the songs from the revolutionary artists were considered key in the Los Angeles riots of 1992. After a video emerged of police brutality against Rodney King, which shocked all of the world except for Compton commoners since they knew about these acts. After the officers that physically abused of King were acquitted, the riots initiated in South Central Los Angeles, where looting, gunfights, and arson happened, eventually adding up to 53 casualties and over $1 billion in damages. Quoting again South Central history. This information from the riots can be related to a verse from Express Yourself. Even though it was produced years before the incident, Dr. Dre raps in the song saying, "Yes, I'm a cop, but you know you need this, and the knowledge is growing just like a fetus." This quote explains what was probably NWA's biggest goal, to show the reality of what happened in the black community, showing that their lyrics actually represented what they and their neighbors lived in their lives. This macabre, ruthless, and offensive lyrics were needed to bring the spotlight upon the black community and its issues. This is also why the group's language was disturbing. The audience needed to hear the uncut point of view upon the black community. In the site, Stanford Education did try to explain the negative influence of NWA and gangster rap on America. The authors of the site explained their point of view by writing, "The underlying messages in their work depicted acts of violence, discrimination, and sex in a way that made them appear commonplace and acceptable. These wrongdoings are what the artists witness every day. The rappers just tried to get the audience to acknowledge what actually happens in their backyard. They were just trying for the world and especially Americans to notice Compton and the acts within the black community." Another song that is essential upon the black community and how it got attention worldwide is the single Straight Outta Compton. Released before the album of the same name, this single is the most successful song by the rap group. This song, referring to the gangster lifestyle, was never in the charts due to the lack of play on rock radio. This was caused by the language used within the song. This song does not only express and define the black community, but also the gangster lifestyle, cursing and dissing all the authorities. This is being shaped by the context within which the artist grew. They witnessed the authorities abusing their power and even killing innocent people. The resentment of the whole Compton community is expressed with this powerful single. You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge. This line is not rapped by Dr. Dre. It is rather said before the beat drops, saying that the street knowledge they earned in Compton is their major power. The power that has kept them alive through the hardship of the Compton community. When MC Ren's verse, he sings of the misogyny within the black society. I'ma call you a bitch or a dirty ass hoe. You'll probably get mad like a bitch is supposed to. What MC Ren shows with this verse is the machoism of the black men in marginalized societies. In this verse, just like in many of NWA's songs, the women are referred as bitches or hoes. Another example within the single Straight Outta Compton is in Eazy-E's verse. So what about the bitch who got shot? Fuck her. You think I give a damn about a bitch? I ain't a sucker. This lyrics had a negative effect on NWA public image, since people thought they were just sexists that did not respect women. What they did not know was that these terms were used usually within the black community. As stated by IB Time, the purpose of NWA was a good one, but they were not actually the perfect messengers. The article says, misogyny in NWA's lyrics helped to fuel criticism that the rappers were less than ideal as messengers of the black struggle against oppression. The criticism that the rappers received showed that the ideals of their society were not accepted by the world. These were not the correct men to show the world what actually happens in the majority of poor and black societies. In the same verse of Lorenzo Patterson, he explained the terms used by gangsters. Just like burglary, the definition is jacking, and when illegally armed, it's called packing. These terms, such as packing and jacking, symbolize the language used by gangsters. The slang in this culture represents how many of them were uneducated, also representing to the audience what black men actually meant when saying some weird terms. MC Ren represents how multiple words are used in the context of the black community. Even though people weren't part of this community, they should know what language meant. Again quoting the IB Times, the Straight Outta Compton album, there's absolutely no way you can listen and not understand what they are talking about. This article explains that all the language and all the terms used by the rappers were used in the context of explaining what happens within their society. If you heard the lyrics from songs such as Fuck the Police, Straight Outta Compton, and even Gangsta Gangster, you will know that what happened within South Central Los Angeles. The lyrics were self-explanatory about all the murder, drug use, abuse of authority, and profiling that happened not only in Compton but the whole black community in the United States. As Ice Cube says, it's just a way of life and I pretty much know how to maneuver it myself here. The life within the black society is one you must know how to handle, or it will perpetrate you and handle you.
NWA gave the black community a voice. Through explicit lyrics, they reflected how their daily lives were like. Living in Compton was not easy. Racial discrimination and social denigration was part of their living. Together, they represented the voice of thousands of oppressed people. We can conclude that the black community did not agree with the treatment they received, and NWA was some type of hope to the community.
Thank you very much for watching this video about NWA and their impact on the black community. We hope you learned more about NWA and not just judge them upon their lyrics, but upon the impact they had on their society.
That's the way it goes in the city of Compton, boy.